Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have Selfless Little Gaming here. It is that time of year. It is the playoffs, baby. We are back. We are ready to go. It's an exciting time. It's also a very nervous time for a lot of people because their team is in a wild card, or they got a bye, or their team's got a tough matchup. Well, shut up, dog. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and we're going to break it down for you. We're going to go over the matchups and everything else. So I'm going to let Littl3Jakob go ahead and introduce himself.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Littl3Jakob with a 3 instead of an E. You can find me on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can feel free to reach out to me on those socials.
And I am Selfless_Gaming. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much everywhere but Facebook. So, but yeah, let's get right into it, man. You want to break down the AFC or the NFC first? Which one do you want to go over?
We could do the AFC.
All right, so the Chiefs ended up with the number 1 seed, so they got a bye for the first round. Mm-hmm. Your overall matchups for this week or weekend is going to be the Chargers versus Jacksonville. That's a 4 versus 5 matchup. You then have the Bengals versus the Ravens, which is a 3 versus 6 matchup. And then you have the Buffalo Bills facing the Miami Dolphins, which is a 2 versus 7 matchup. It's really interesting to see this playoff breakdown, especially with the way things played out, because for example, the Bengals literally just played the Ravens last weekend, and now they got to play them again. And that's a divisional matchup. The Bills are in the same situation with the Dolphins. That's a divisional matchup and stuff. So it's kind of weird to see the way that these playoffs have broken down. The Chargers and the Jaguars are the only ones that actually don't face each other in a divisional matchup. So it's kind of crazy. But let's break down the Bills versus the Dolphins first. Okay. What are your thoughts going into that game? What are your projections? And who do you think has the most pressure on them as a player standpoint?
I feel like probably that's going to be for the Buffalo Bills. There's a lot of everything that's gone on. The way they were training their season, they're kind of up and down the end, and then they had that that whole situation where Mark Hamill got hurt and collapsed and everything. So of course that that game was voided. They came back and played the game without him and won. I just feel like it's gonna. These teams know each other really well. Like you said, they play each other in the division. They see each other twice a year, every year. I feel like it's gonna be a really close game, but the pressure is definitely gonna be on the Buffalo Bills to finish that game because they haven't played well defensively some games and kind of been off. Miami is a pretty offensively heavy team. They'll start off pretty fast,
Mm-hmm.
If you're not careful, you can find yourself down in 2 or 3 score game by the end of the first half because that's just how much explosiveness they have in the offense. And plus Buffalo, they know that at some point, if they're going to want to continue these playoffs, they're going to have to face the Chiefs again. And with how things went last year, how things went during the regular season, I would definitely say there's a lot of pressure because the expectations are so high for Buffalo right now, just like they were last year in the postseason. And with the way that Josh Allen's been playing and all the other pieces that they have there that are helping them be successful. So, yeah, that to me, I think they had the biggest pressure. Although Miami, this is the first time they've been to the playoffs in forever.
Yeah.
I don't think I can remember the last time they made the playoffs. I'm sure they're really excited. They're definitely becoming, but we've seen how mistake prone to it can be. He can create some turnovers and hasn't made all the best decisions down the road. And then also his health hasn't always been 100%. So you got to kind of keep an eye on that. And hopefully there's something that happens that doesn't take him out of the game. But I think they'll be out there ready. Definitely most of the pressure to me is on Buffalo because of what they did last year and what they're expected to do this year.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think a lot of the pressure is on Buffalo. I don't think a lot of the pressure is on Miami. I personally think that as far as like a player or like unit standpoint that has the most pressure on them for this game is Buffalo's defense. If their
Oh yeah,
defense can show up and play to their capability, they should be able to advance out of this first round. But man, their defense, like, they were very much the same as last year. Whereas you would have games where they would beat a team like 35-3, just go out and absolutely throttle them. The defense would play great. And then it's like the next week, they're playing against a subpar NFL team, like a team that's in the middle of the pack average on the season. And then all of a sudden they're like in a shootout and they're losing a game where it's like 31-24, you know?
yeah.
And the season's been very similar with all that. And I just don't know. I just feel like the defense really has to step up this week for them and play to their full potential because, like you said, Miami can start fast, and if Tua is on his game, Tua can be a big difference maker in a game.
For sure.
Because that offense is very heavily evolved around him. So, like, if he's playing at a high level, then they can put up a lot of points. But I just don't know that Miami's defense can get enough stops to help them win this game and stuff. So, especially when you've seen a team for the third time in the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the last game I remember because I caught it when I was up there in Austin for that weekend. I caught this game in the evening when we were out there on Rainy Street, and it was a close game. And at one point, because they have some of the other bars out there had it like on like a projector on the wall or somewhere where you can kind of see while you're walking. So I was kind of keeping up with it, and the Dolphins were putting it on them for a little while.
Yeah.
They were able. I mean, it was only 29-32. They were able to do almost whatever they wanted on offense against that defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they prepare. And I mean, that was a crazy game. Snow was a factor. I don't think it might not be a factor this time coming around. Yeah, so I'm excited to see this game. I think it'll be a high scoring game again, especially if it's not bad weather. You know.
Oh, I think it'll be a high scoring game for sure. All right, let's move on to Jacksonville versus the Los Angeles Chargers. What are your thoughts on this game, man?
I think it's going to be a really good offensive matchup. Both these offenses are really high caliber offenses, and some of the younger quarterbacks that we have in the NFL that are pretty good with Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert. So it's going to be a pretty interesting matchup to see. I don't know, man. I mean, the way that the defense for Jacksonville has been playing, Trevor Lawrence has been making really good decisions. I think he's really caught on fire at the right time at the end of the season when you need your guys to do. They haven't really, started off the best every game, but I don't know. The Chargers, they haven't looked as good as they should be defensively, like we were talking about in the preseason. And sometimes the offense stalls out. I have a feeling that even though my gut tells me I want to go with the Chargers, I have a feeling that Jacksonville might be able to pull this out against the Chargers and that weak defense. Trevor Lawrence has been doing an amazing job. He's got some explosive receivers and a lot of speed out there. I mean, he can run too if he needs to. So I'm interested to see how the game plays out. He's done pretty well over this stretch of the 17-game season.
One thing I'll say is I feel like a lot of pressure is on Justin Herbert in this matchup because he has kind of underperformed the last couple of games. So he's kind of been struggling. Like you said, too, their defense, they've had some injuries throughout the year, and they've definitely had a setup for a defense to be just a ridiculously strong defense all year, but then they've had injuries, they had some setbacks, and they haven't been able to get back to their potential. But I feel like Justin Herbert has a lot of pressure on him in this game to do well. The thing I'll say too is I think Jacksonville, it's crazy that they're the 4 seed because they won their division. Jacksonville's got nothing to lose, in my opinion. They can play loose and free as can be because nobody expected them after last year's performance compared to this year. Nobody expected them to be in the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence has really found himself in this offense. And I feel like the way that they are running their offense has really suited him really good for like halfway through the season. Trevor Lawrence has been playing extremely well, and Jacksonville is a really tough place to play. There's a lot of teams that go down there that are very good that don't win. And one of my buddies, he's like a Colts fan, and he said something to me like the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since like 2012 or something like that. Like it's been like that long since they've won down there in Jacksonville. So I don't know what it is about Jacksonville, but I've seen over the years a lot of really good teams go down there and not win. But man, Trevor Lawrence, I don't know if you caught the last game of the season, but that guy's got some grit to him and he's got some swagger to him right now. And he's like really feeling himself as a player and showing his capability. And I think I think the Jaguars might win by two scores. That would not surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely going Jacksonville in that matchup for sure, especially with last 3-4 weeks they've been playing. They've just been tough, man. All right, I gotta talk about the GOAT. I'm calling him the GOAT already. Okay, Joe Burrow versus the Baltimore Ravens. What are your thoughts on it? I'm becoming more and more of a fan of Joe Burrow every week that I've watched this guy play. But what are your thoughts on it?
I'm trying to take a look right now. Is Lamar Jackson going to be playing this game? He will be. Yeah, he'll be playing, right?
They did say he's going to play because last I saw it was like they're on the fence. They don't know if he's going to play or not.
But now they're saying he is going to play.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, I think honestly, I mean, I think if he can, he really needs to play this game because let me just say this: without Lamar Jackson and the way he can ignite that offense. Joe Burrow's already going to be coming with a team that's playing just as good, like we were talking about the other week. Just as good. They're playing just as good right now as they were last year going into the playoffs before they went to the Super Bowl. This is that Bengals team. I mean, a lot of the same guys are around. They've kept a lot of the same confidence and a lot of the same energy from last season in their Super Bowl run. So, I mean, without Lamar Jackson, I don't really see the Ravens having a chance at winning this game. With Lamar Jackson, I think that it's just really going to depend on whose defense will hold up better. Because Lamar Jackson completely destroyed a game plan for a defense. But also, same time with the Ravens, they're at their best on defense either. So it would be a close game if Lamar Jackson played. I would probably say the Bengals probably win something like maybe 34-28 or 34-31. But without Lamar Jackson, I think the Bengals probably win at least by 2 touchdowns. Because they're just playing so darn good right now. And like you're talking about Joe Burrow, I mean, he should definitely be a runner for MVP, you know, just in my opinion, because of what he's done all year, how bad they started, and just how well that they started to play after that and kind of really just picked up where they left off last year. I'm excited to see what they do. So, yeah, I'm probably going to go with Bengals in this one either way.
I agree with you 100%. Lamar Jackson is a big impact on this game, whether he plays or not. The thing I don't like about this, and the only reason like I would give the Ravens a chance, is because they literally just played the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Bengals this past week. And now they got to go back to Cincinnati again to play the Bengals. And I don't know how many times like this scenario has happened in the NFL where you've literally had to play the same team back to back. Like, I don't know how many scenarios that's happened, but if it has happened multiple times, I really don't see those teams winning back to back very often. Yeah. You know, that's a hard thing to do. Obviously now it's the playoffs, so you got to throw everything you can at, like, in the playbook. You got to throw it all out there on the field, run whatever you can. I think as long as the Bengals stick to their game plan, stick to the way they've been playing, I could see them pulling it out again. The last week they played, I think the final score was 27-16, I believe it was. So they won by 2 scores, but Yeah, man, that's tough, you know. And that was without Lamar. So, but like I said, last I saw was he seemed like doubtful for this week, but you never know with a guy like that too. You know, like he's been out for what 5 weeks now.
Yeah, I think so. And I think too, like I think we'll see on defense how their new big payday linebacker Roquan Smith plays in his playoff game here with them, his first playoff game with the Ravens, which they're gonna need him big time, especially if Joe Burrow and those
Mm-hmm.
guys are clicking like they have been. They're definitely gonna need that guy and whatever guys they got on defense to step up and make some plays and some stops, man, because
Yeah,
they're gonna have to get to the quarterback, and I think the more pressure they can put on Joe Burrow, the more that they're gonna be making like forcing them to make quick decisions, and they can try to capitalize and get some turnovers. And the Ravens are capable of getting turnovers. You know, they have a pretty good pass defense. I think they're ranked like 10th in the league. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting game to watch for sure. But yeah, the Ravens have a shot. I agree with Lamar Jackson. It's just hard to see them not. It's hard to see them having a shot without him. You know, as optimistic as that could be for them.
yeah, and I just like I don't know, man. The Bengals have so many weapons on defense and stuff right now. Their defense is playing so good, and they've been playing good for the past couple of weeks. But like, man, their offense is loaded. Bengals offense is loaded. They got so much talent on that side of the ball. I think as long as they just like don't turn the ball over, like they just play within their game and they don't turn it over, and they actually have like a good production value, like they should win. Like, the Bengals should win.
Yeah,
But you never know with these games, man. Like
yeah,
just like college and anything else, one injury can completely turn a game around. One bad series, one turnover can completely change the pace of a game. So, all right. So you're going Bengals, Chargers, Bills. Is that right?
yeah.
Okay, I'm going Bills, Bengals, Jags. Is what I'm going. All right, let's switch over to the NFC. So the Philadelphia Eagles held on. They got the number one seed overall, so they got a bye first round. You got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Seahawks, another divisional matchup. That is a 2 versus a 7. Then you have the New York Giants versus the Minnesota Vikings. That is a 3 versus 6 matchup. And then you have the greatest of all time and Tom Brady with the first ever time, and this is crazy to say, out of 22 years of playing football in the NFL, this is the first time he's ever had a losing record in his career, and he still made the playoffs.
Yeah, still in the playoff.
Guy's goated. Okay, he can lose his games and he still makes playoffs. But that is the Bucks versus the Cowboys, which is a 4 versus 5 matchup. Let's start with Seattle, man. Let's start with Seattle and San Francisco. Let's break that game down.
Man, that's going to be a really good game, man. I mean, what's a better storyline? Like Brock Purdy's or Geno Smith coming into this team that no one had any expectations for. Didn't even think would be considered anything close to being a playoff hunt team, you know, and here they are and taking on a defense like the 49ers, they could pull it off. I mean, look, this is another situation. They see these guys 2 times every year. They know each other pretty well. It's a pretty good rivalry. Could go either way in this game because of how much history they have, and they always just seem to really get after a different. Rivalry games are always different when you're playing teams within your conference. So I don't know, man. It's hard to pick a side for this game because one hand you got Geno Smith and that team that he's revitalized there in the Seahawks offense, and then you turn around, you got Brock Purdy, the dude's a third string quarterback that I didn't know about until this, he got a starter, and he's been doing pretty darn good, and it seems like kind of funny how the 49ers kind of have in their pocket 3 different quarterbacks that and Trey Lance, Jimmy Garoppolo, and then you got this guy in the QB room too, but they're still trying to find an answer to get back to the Super Bowl and win one. But that's kind of crazy how they have that kind of quarterback talent on that team. And when Brock Purdy is the guy that's leading the team right now, he's looking pretty good too. It's going to be a close game, man, but I honestly feel like I'm gonna say I feel like the defense of the 49ers is gonna be the difference in this game. The Seahawks defense isn't very great, isn't very good. And even if Gino and them are just playing on their best outstanding day, at the end of the day, I think that the defense is just going to stop them more times. And the
Yeah.
Seahawks can actually stop the 49ers offense. And you're going to see a lot of points come on the board. I mean, they still got McCaffrey. They still got Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. You know, it's just dumb loaded. And I do not see the Seahawks defense keeping up with them all game. And I can definitely see the Seahawks getting stopped a couple times. But hey, I could be wrong. Geno Smith could once again prove me wrong and win that game, which would be insane. But yeah, I would have to go probably with the 49ers in this one, man.
I agree with you, honestly. Like, there's not really too much more to add than what you already said. Only thing I will like comment on is I think from a pressure standpoint, I think Geno Smith has a lot of pressure on him for this game.
Yeah.
It's not in the fact of just winning the game. This is a big moment for him that, one, he's already shown all year what he's capable of as a quarterback. He goes out and he wins this game. There's a lot of teams right now that are going to be looking for quarterbacks. And you could save a lot of money signing a guy like this to like a 1 or 2 year deal, pay him some good money, and not have to break the bank. You know, if he goes out and performs well and beats a top-notch team like the 49ers. I've seen a lot of like statistical stuff breaking down of like projections and things like that, and a lot of people have the 49ers getting to the Super Bowl. Like with the way their team is right now and their defense and everything. So you go out and you beat a team like that first round and advance. I mean, that's definitely going to say something about your career, man, like moving forward. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely an important game for him.
yeah. So I wish him well. I'm very happy to see like how he has gutted it out in the NFL for as long as he has, you know, and been able to make it happen, because a lot of guys would have retired or walked away and stuff after not starting for so long. So it's good to see that, man. It's good to see him bounce back and have a good year. All right. Next, we're going to the Purple People Eaters, the Minnesota Vikings, and the New York Giants. I just want to say that I think it's incredible how the NFC East alone has 3 teams out of that division in the playoffs. For the past couple of years and stuff, they've been pretty bad division. Like, they haven't been playing to their like overall compared to like the NFC South or the North and things like that. Like, they've kind of struggled the past couple of years. So like to see them actually get 3 teams in the playoffs this year is awesome to see that turnaround for them. But what are you thinking about the Giants versus the Vikings? This is an interesting matchup to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup. I think the thing that stands out to me is that you have one team, 2 teams whose defenses have been the best, and the Vikings. A glaring thing for me about the Vikings, I think they have the second. They're the second worst defense in the league, as far as yards per game and just overall in the NFL. That's their ranking. The high for them is they have a really potent offense, especially with Justin Jefferson out there. You know, Adam Thielen. They do have Cook. They haven't really ran the ball too well. And the Giants have, so that's the other thing. The Giants haven't run the ball, they haven't. They do have the 7th ranked offense, and they're 5th in passing. So it's really just going to depend on what Vikings team shows up, man. If their defense is playing as bad as they have been, and they're going with the shootout, I would probably see if the Vikings winning a shootout just because of the offensive weapons they have. I feel like if they can stop the run or just try to hold Saquon Barkley to a minimum, that's their best chance to win the football game. But on the other side, you know, the Giants, I know that they're definitely going to have they're going to throw out everything they can into this game. And there's some games where they've proven to be pretty potent offensively and really effective in getting the end zone and scoring touchdowns. So, yeah, it's going to be a close game, I think, maybe by the end of the first half. But I kind of see the Vikings breaking away with this and winning by at least 10 points, just based on their offensive production alone. They've been a really good football team. And it's multiple guys on their offense that have played really well all season.
I think there's going to be two big factors in this game. Okay, number one, the Vikings crowd. When you're up there in that stadium and stuff in that dome that they got up there, dude, it's loud. It's like one of the loudest NFL venues there is and stuff. Those people are crazy. They're like, "Skull," going just crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's an awesome environment to see. I would actually love to go catch a game up there just to be a part of the environment. But I think that's going to be a key factor. So with that being a key factor, the Giants got to eliminate that crowd early. And one thing I think that is a big, big X factor for the Giants is Daniel Jones. And it's not with his arm, it's with his legs. Because that dude has had multiple games where he's had like well over 100 yards rushing. And I think him and his ability to run, extend the pocket, is actually going to open up quite a bit of opportunities for the Giants. And I mean, dude, this is the guy's first year head coach? This is his first year coaching the Giants?
Yeah.
And he's got them in the playoffs and stuff. So it's like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah. And they only lost the last game versus the Vikings in December, back in December on the 23rd. They lost to the Vikings only by 3. So
yeah, I think the Giants will definitely keep pace with this game. You got to get Saquon Barkley going. You have to get that guy going. But I just honestly think that Daniel Jones and his ability to be mobile is a big X factor in this game. And I'm actually going to go with how the Vikings have played all year and how pretty much all their games have been really close. I'm personally going to go with the Giants pulling this one out. And I'm going to have them advancing to face the San Francisco 49ers in the second round. That's my prediction. I'm not going to say the score because I don't know. All I'm going to say is they're going to win. That's what I'm going to say. All right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think they're going to pull it out. I think that's looking at all the matchups and stuff, I think that's one where there's going to be an upset for sure. Okay. We got to talk about the game, dude. The game. You got a rematch from week 1 in Dallas. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. What do you see happening in this game? Especially from where the season started to where teams are now at the end of the season. Okay. Who's got the most pressure on them, whether it be a player or like a unit? And what's the outcome of the game for you?
I definitely see a big portion of the outcome resulting on how everything goes on the ground. Of course, we're going to try to run the football, and I hope as a fan that we don't, because we've done it in games before and it's cost us, is that we abandon running the football because they do have a pretty good defensive front. They still are pretty good at run defense, as bad as the team has been overall. They're still pretty good at stopping the run. I mean, their defense is ranked 13th in the league, so they're not horrible, right, when it comes to defending the run. We need to make sure that we get our running needs to get done early. They are going to be trying to stop everything that they can for every run that they usually do. We're going to start throwing the ball a lot. I don't think it's going to be too much of a different game than what we've seen in the last few times. I mean, before Dak got hurt, it was a lot close. The first game was pretty close. I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I feel like it's definitely a game that they can win. The last few weeks, it just kind of seems like we've beat ourselves up more the last few weeks, and other teams are beating us because of mental mistakes. Everybody's not in sync. You have not just one guy making a mistake, but everyone on all phases of the game, like in that Washington game where everyone's just terrible all over around. I think if we can get our heads on right and keep it there and do what we're supposed to in this football game, it's definitely a game that can win by at least a touchdown. But it's going to be a close game, man. I mean, you never know. Tom Brady's just a different person in the playoffs. At least that's what we've experienced. I don't know. I can't say they're confident in all the years that I've seen him play, sit here and be like, well, now it's the playoffs, that he's not going to turn into a different guy and turn it up another notch, because he's done it plenty of time before. So that's the only thing that worries me. Another thing that concerns me too is the injuries that we have out in the cornerback position. We're still trying to find a more solid replacement and answer. When I have Antonio Brown, we picked up Xavier Rhodes off the free agency. I mean, like right now, we're really desperate for stopping the passing game. That's the opposite of Trayvon Diggs, because that's everywhere. That's the only place they're throwing is wherever he's not, and we're weaker now. And when that got exposed, I mean, the Jacksonville game, and then it's kind of happened since then. So yeah, it's just gonna really depend, man, on which Cowboys team shows up. Mentally, I mean, overall, we do have the better team and players, but that doesn't always mean that you're gonna win the game. If things aren't going right, with making mental mistakes. So I'm hoping we can win by at least a touchdown and maybe win some like 28-21 or 21-14, something like that.
This game like surprised me with the spread because it's very close spread. It's like 2.5 points for Dallas as a favorite. And I don't know, like you look at the records and stuff, like Dallas is 4-4 away. Tampa Bay, their only like winning percentage that they have is at home. They're 5-4. Man, this game is like, to me, looking at the way the teams are playing right now, Dallas is 7-0 against the spread, whereas this year the Bucs are 4-12-1 against the spread. Okay. With that being said, Tom Brady, man, like the guy's a gamer. He's been a gamer. He's always going to show up. But the only like big question mark and concern I have for this game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have athletes, like they got ball players on their side. You got Mike Evans, Julio Jones. I said at the beginning of the year, like I thought he was going to be the steal of the draft, being teamed up with Tom Brady. And man, it just seems like they're like when they have actually got him in a game, and those guys have actually like connected with each other. It kind of seems like, man, there could be something there, but they just never got it going this year. And they got it going week 1. He hurt his leg, and then it was like the rest of the season he's just been kind of hit and miss. Like you never knew when he was going to play. Yeah. But man, they got you guys got Godwin, you got Evans, they got some good tight ends. So the question mark for me is, out of both teams this year, the only thing that I've seen that has been consistent for the Bucs is their defense. Okay. Yeah. The big area and where I think the most pressure on the game is this year, in this playoff game for Dallas, is your all's defense. Your guys' defense has been like really, really strong and tough throughout like the beginning of the year. And man, just in my opinion, it just seems like the past like 4 or 5 weeks, it's kind of like, dude, just where's this defense at? Yeah. And I know, like, I don't know. It's just weird, like how you guys came out beginning of the year, were playing and stuff. And it's kind of like the roles have flipped. Like the offense is starting to be more productive. You guys had a bad week against Washington. I don't know what the hell happened there. But like that stuff happens, sometimes you just lay an egg, like stuff's just not going your way. But like it's just like your offense has been very consistent with production and the way everybody's been playing, but then it's like the defense on the other side of the ball now, it's kind of like, what's going on? Like if people figured out your all scheme and they know like where to attack now, or like where the holes are in the defense, I don't know. Like that's just my area of concern for that game is what defense from Dallas are we going to see? Are we going to see the ones that we know we had at the beginning of the year, or are we going to see like what we've seen for the past 3 weeks? So, because I hate to say it, but like I feel like if Tom Brady, especially this year, if he knows he can pick apart a defense, then the Bucks are like really aggressive and like successful. But like if
Yeah.
he starts struggling early on, then he just checks out of the game this year. He's just like whatever, you know.
Yeah,
So
well, it's not to be able to stop. We haven't been that great against run. Leonard Fournette's still a big, tough running back. I mean,
yeah,
they're gonna be out there, and he's gonna be slamming the gas pedal, and going full throttle. So that's another thing too that they have for it working for them is Leonard Fournette, and he can catch it out of the backfield too and make plays. So, yeah, over the course of the year, we've had injuries at safety, corner, linebacker, and I think a lot of that took effect. And I'm pretty sure Micah was playing through an injury for a little while. I think he's been playing through an injury all season, honestly. I don't know how. I mean, I would assume he's pretty healthy. But you saw he's having an issue with his hand where he had his hand taped to like a club, and then I
yeah.
think before it was his hamstring, and so they're definitely going through some things there. But yeah, I mean, I hope that this time off, that the time off for everyone and gets more people healthy and they're out there. The good news is we do have Tyrone Smith out there. Uh, Peters has been doing a pretty good job as a replacement to block for Dak. We just got to be smarter with where we put the football, and not turning it over. But the line's been shaping up pretty well, and we have our receivers healthy. We got some veterans in there like T.Y. Hilton. This is it's do or die. It's time to go now, and so that's what we're gonna see.
I
And
think
hopefully they do the rest. I think they'll be okay. I will say this: for every loss that we've had this year, we've never like consecutively lost games.
yeah.
And usually, what'll happen is, just looking at the pattern from the 17 games this year, it's like we lose, we win a couple games in a row, and then before we lose again. Like, so, I feel like that was just one of those off games for us. I don't see us being off like that on offense again, and in every phase of the game, because that's just what happened in that Washington game, man. Is offense was terrible, special teams terrible, defense terrible. Everybody was just, I don't know, half-assing it or something. But I expect them to come out playing their best football on one night for sure. I think this is enough time to prepare. They need whatever going through in that week that made them play like that. That needs to be gone out of their mind. And in the past, you got to look forward to your next opponent, and that's the Bucks. So hopefully we stay focused, and I think we'll be in good shape if we do what we're supposed to do.
See, like one thing with me was last week when I like wrote you and stuff, like sent you a message, and I was like, "Yo, like, is Dallas playing their starters right now?" Because I honestly wasn't watching the game.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Yeah, they're playing and stuff." I don't. Did they play the whole game or just like a half?
They played most of the game, I think.
So
I think the backups didn't get into like maybe the end of the third or the fourth.
So see, like for me, like I don't know. And once again, like I said, I didn't see the game,
Yeah.
so I don't know how it played out. But like, if it was like already out of hand at halftime, like just pull your guys. Like we already got a playoff spot secured and stuff. We already know where we're gonna be. We can't win the first round or number one seed and stuff. Like just pull your guys. I think a big player for you all that's gonna have like a really big impact this year. Or not this year, but like this game, is Tony Pollard, man. Like I think you get him involved in like the run game and the passing game. That's going to open up a lot because with how much you guys can stretch the field now, downfield, with where you guys got Hilton, you guys got Gallup, you guys got Lamb, you got Schultz, you got Brown. Like there's so many people you can stretch the field with and stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to open up a huge aspect for your alls, like having backs chip the edge and then get out over like to the right side, left side, get out there in the flats and stuff. I think it's going to be a big impact on the game because you'll be able to like pick up quick yards that way, but then you're also going to like have to keep the defense honest and keep them up and not protect everything deep. So if you play it right, I could see those guys having a really, really big impact on it. Zeke has also had like, he's got what, like 12 touchdowns on the year, but he's scored like a touchdown like for the past like 7 weeks or something like that. Like consistently.
Yeah, it looked like a good streak that he had going.
So like Zeke he's capable of still getting yards. Is definitely one of his lowest offensive productive years. But he also had like injury he's dealing with too. We're doing a lot more management between him and Pollard. He had like 876 yards. Pollard, he had over 1,000 this year.
Yeah.
Stuff rushing. So I think you're starting to see the shift in that. It definitely seemed like Zeke is more of a short yardage package now. But I do think with how explosive Pollard is, man, and what he can do, I do think getting him involved in the passing game is going to put a lot more pressure on the Bucs defense, which is the strength of that team right now. Their offense is very inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to see from them offensively. So I think you put more pressure on that defense, get that defense having to guess what you're trying to do a lot of times. It should be a successful day for you all. But man, and Kellen Moore, call the game that you call all year, dude. Don't be pulling out some rinky-dink, stupid-ass trick plays when you just got a first down and you're like, oh, let's run a double reverse, throwback pass to the quarterback and kick it down the field. Whatever the shit you call sometimes, man. Keep it within what your team can do. You guys got so many weapons on your offense. Use them. You don't have to be cute with the ball, bro. If not, you don't want to listen to me? I'll take your job. I'll call a smart game. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and can we please get T.Y. Hilton some more opportunities? You know what I mean?
I think y'all will, for sure.
He's looking pretty good.
I think you guys are saving that, honestly. I think you've been working them into your offense and everything and getting them familiar with the scheme and all that stuff, but then it's we don't want to show too much of what we got right now. We'll let y'all figure it out first week of the playoffs type deal. Because that's what I would do,
Yeah.
If you don't have to put this nice little shiny little toy you got out there just yet, save it for when you need it, and now you need it. So I think
one thing that might help us out with the run defense, we're supposed to be getting. I think we're getting Leighton Vander Esch back.
Are you?
Up there in the linebacker core, yeah, because he's been out for a little bit with injury, so he's come back. That's going to help. Yeah. The main thing I'm just worried about. I know we're getting Armstrong back on the line, so he'll be out there. It's really just that other corner spot opposite of Trayvon that I'm worried about because we don't have Antonio Brown. A couple of other guys got hurt. Our rookie got hurt. I don't know if he's going to play because he's been playing pretty good this year. Bland. That's just my main concern because, like you were talking about, Tom Brady knows he can expose an offense. He'll do it. And if he finds a weak side to throw to that's always exposure, he can get the ball to somebody. He's going to do it, So, to see how that plays out, man.
I think if your defense comes out and plays because their offensive line been banged up.
They just need to play better, really.
Yeah, their offensive line's been banged up quite a bit.
They are.
Their two guards have been struggling and stuff. They've had some changes on their offensive line, so it's been a rough past couple of weeks for Tom. But I just think, man, if y'all can get after them offensively early and kind of set the tone, I think you guys will be good. And then just offensively, just do what y'all been doing all year. It's paid off 12 times out of 17 games. You guys are 12-5. Just do what you've been doing all year, and I think you guys will be fine.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go with Dallas winning on the road in Tampa Bay. I'm going to go 24-20. I'm going to go 24-20 Dallas. So I'm going to go. My prediction.
Sounds good.
All right, so I saw this earlier, so I don't want y'all thinking it's my idea and that I'm some crazy genius or something like that. I saw this earlier on a TikTok, and it was a great question. Okay, you got to pick one team out of the first round. Okay, in the playoffs right now. So you got to pick one team. So go ahead and pick your team. What are you picking?
One team out of the first round?
Yeah. So pick one team that you're just going to do this little game with. I know you're going to say Cowboys, bro, so just say Cowboys.
Yeah, Dallas.
Okay. I'm going to go San Francisco 49ers. All right?
Okay.
Now here's the question. Okay? Your team is in the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
From your team's franchise history, you can add one player to your roster for the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball. Who are you adding to the Dallas Cowboys to make them better for this first round playoff game?
Offense and defense, you said?
Offense and defense, one player for each.
Dang.
Because
Probably defense.
when I heard this question, I was like, "Oh my god, bro, this is such a good question."
Man, with the way we're hurting on defense right now, where we need the help, I would probably say, I mean, why lie? Barry Sanders. I mean, Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders. I was about to say Barry Sanders. What, bro?
I mean, not Barry Sanders. Deion Sanders.
Okay, so that's your defensive guy.
Yeah, because we definitely need to have a corner and what better than the best. Offensively, that's a tough one.
I know who I'd take offensively for you all.
Offensively is a tough one, but that's a really tough one.
You're not gonna go with the GOAT, bro?
Because the person that I was thinking of saying was Michael Irvin.
I thought about Michael Irvin too, but you got a lot of weapons at wide receiver.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, what's wrong with one more?
I was gonna go with Emmitt Smith, bro.
Emmitt Smith, yeah, I mean that would be crazy too.
Emmitt Smith is a tough dude.
Yeah, that's true.
For me,
yeah,
for San Francisco 49ers, you're gonna go with Deion Sanders because he did play for the 49ers. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got Deion Sanders defense. That defense is now even more elite. And then at quarterback, because they need a quarterback, I'm going with the GOAT, Joe Montana. Joe Montana is one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it because of the weapons they got out there with Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel. Like, we're smoking the Seahawks in the first game. Smoking them, son.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what happens. That should be an exciting game because you never know. I mean, Brock Purdy's either going to continue to play like a hidden gem or, maybe show why he was a third string roster. Who knows?
I just think they have so many weapons, man. It's hard to defend them,
Yeah, and then sometimes that helps too. Like maybe he has enough experience enough to where it's like he's really comfortable with the players he got because they make it easier for him too.
Yeah,
it could also be that,
I've said it before that of what Urban Meyer's quoted. He said a quarterback is nothing more than the product he has around him. So depending on who you got around your quarterback depends on how good he's going to do. You can be the best passer there is and stuff, but if you don't have any weapons and stuff around him, and honestly, I think Jalen Hurts' success this year is a prime example of that from what they did with the draft. Past couple of years with him, who they brought in, and A.J. Brown and stuff. They got a lot of weapons around that guy right now. Their offensive line's been improved. He had best year of his career. Eagles have done pretty well, So
yeah.
But yeah. So those are our predictions for the first round. We will be back after this week's games. Just a quick little breakdown before we go. Let me back it up here. On Saturday at 4:30 p.m., you have Seattle versus the San Francisco 49ers. That's going to be on Fox. Then the other Saturday game is going to be Los Angeles Chargers at Jacksonville Jaguars at 8:15 p.m. Then on Sunday, you have the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills at 1 p.m. kickoff. You then got 4:30 p.m. the Giants versus the Vikings. And then you got, to round off your Sunday evening, you got Baltimore Ravens versus the Bengals. And then on Monday night, which I hate that it's Monday night, but you got the Dallas Cowboys versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm actually off work that day. It just sucks that the game's not like earlier in the day. So like I said, it starts late. But the Dallas Tampa game is going to be on ABC and ESPN. The Giants Seahawks game is going to be on Fox. And then the Bengals Chargers game is going to be on NBC. And then the Dolphins game will be on CBS. So that is your televised entertainment for the weekend when it comes to sports.
It's going to be a good weekend.
So for all of you that do tune in and listen, if you guys do have a favorite team, good luck to your teams this weekend. Unless they're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm rooting for my boy Jacob, man. My boy Jacob needs a Super Bowl. All right. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you guys listening, checking out the podcast. Be sure to hit us up on our socials and stuff. Like, we really enjoy interacting with people and putting things out there for you guys to like interact with, comment on, and everything. We love to hear other people's like opinions and perspectives on things. So yeah, if you guys are hearing this, like, definitely hit us up with questions or your thoughts on the episode. It'd be great. Leave them down in the comment section. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for us. So I am selfless_gaming. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the stuff, all the socials except for Facebook, basically. And little Jacob, he wraps up, homie.
Hey guys, it's Littl3Jakob, it's Littl3 instead of an E. You can also find me on TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Those are my socials you can reach out to me on.
So we appreciate you guys. Always tuning in. Be sure to take care of yourselves. Be sure to take care of each other. And always remember, you guys are one in a melon. We appreciate you, and we will catch you next time, y'all. Peace.
Later.